Welcome back to Media Trip, everybody. This is Jason Triplett, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars Episode 9. More specifically, we're going to talk about Lando Calrissian and Chewbacca and what might happen to them after the events of this movie, or even during. What is the future for Lando and Chewie? I'm sure by now many of you have seen the Reddit plot leak from the same guy that leaked out the somewhat accurate plot leak for The Last Jedi. So it stands within reason that some of this plot leak may actually be true. It's hard to say how much though, because especially after Carrie Fisher's passing, the movie had to be reworked slightly because they were not willing to digitally recreate her. So to make some of this footage removed from the last two films work, I'm sure they'd have to rework some of the story a bit. Now, let's talk a little bit about Lando Calrissian. Billy D. Williams is confirmed, of course, to come back and reprise his role as Lando. It's something that us fans have wanted since they announced this new trilogy. I think it is fitting they save him for last because I have a feeling he's going to play an integral role. But the question that I have for Lando is, I don't think they're going to kill him off. I really don't. Lando, I think, is going to be one that they keep around just in case, or give him an ambiguous ending. And the ambiguous ending would be he gets the Millennium Falcon back and takes off into the galaxy, reunited with his droid, and his story comes full circle. That's the way I would pick it if it was personally me. Give Lando the Falcon back, let him be reunited with his droid, and let him take off into the sunset. Adventures unknown. Okay? That's fitting to me. That's how I would like to see that happen. But how would he get the Millennium Falcon? Well, we know it doesn't belong to Chewie at this point. He's just the co-pilot. It's kind of all he's been, is the sidekick and the co-pilot. So right now, the Falcon lies in the hands of Rey. And could Rey give him the Falcon in favor of her own ship? Does she have an emotional attachment to it because of Han Solo? It's hard to say. I could see this being some kind of a dynamic played out in the film, especially once Lando steps back on his baby again. And you know what's going to happen. If they waste this opportunity after all of the build-up they put into Solo, a Star Wars story, it would be just a damn shame. And I think some of you guys are going to agree with me on that. There has to be something special between Lando and the Falcon. So what about Chewbacca? They're in an interesting position with him. Wookiees have very long lifespans. So were they to let him survive the events of Episode 9, Peter Mayhew doesn't necessarily need to play the character anymore. He's getting old, his legs are starting to hurt, he's having a hard time playing the character. And this is to be expected. But there are other big actors out there that can play a Wookiee. So could they have Chewbacca be one of these integral side characters that have now become almost like a beacon for the new films? You include a couple of these, because C-3PO and R2-D2 are going to probably carry over to whatever the next trilogy is that they've got planned. But would they be alone? I mean, it would make sense in a way because, they're droids and they can technically live forever as long as they're not destroyed or their memories aren't wiped or whatever. They've been through so much, and so it's only fitting to keep taking them places. Chewbacca could be a good person or good creature, alien, whatever, to carry over as well, because it doesn't require specific voice acting, it doesn't require a specific person, and it's a character that is so iconic that you will obviously know who it is. Unless they start introducing other Wookiees down the road, we could come into some weirdness with that, but it does stand to reason that Chewbacca could survive as well. So we also don't really know how Luke is going to play into this dynamic, but I'm assuming that we're going to be able to see him in the future as a Force ghost as well as Yoda. We have this potential for at least some of these characters to carry on. I'm pretty sure Mark Hamill has gone on record to say that he would like to reappear later in other movies as a Force ghost, as a little cameo, that he'd be pleased with that. So we'll have to see. As for Billy D. Williams, though, we're really not sure if they're going to want to keep him sticking around, or how long can they? What if he passes on as well? The cast, unfortunately, is getting up there in age. The series is 41 years old this year, so that's why I think for him to fly off into the sunset, back on his baby with his beloved droid, which is now the AI of the Falcon, I think that would be just the most fitting thing. Have Lando fly off into the sunset, adventures unknown. It would leave some of the book writers an open possibility to expand his story through the new book line, in this new expanded universe. It could mean appearances in future animated series, which we already know that Billy D. Williams has voiced Lando in animated series prior. So it just kind of leaves that question open. What's going to happen between Lando and the Falcon, and could Chewbacca actually squeak by and survive this movie? Now, the reason I ask about Chewbacca is because, he swore the life debt to Han. He wasn't able to pay that life debt back. He wasn't down there with Han Solo when he basically helped Kylo Ren to kill him. He was unable to fulfill that debt, and I think that life debt has now carried over to Rey, being that Rey was like his protege. She was going to be. And I think that Rey saw Han Solo as a father figure, and Kylo Ren even commented on this in the film. He'll disappoint you. Well, would that attachment between Rey and Han Solo affect what happens with the Falcon? It's all going to remain to be seen here, but it is sad that we won't have a scene between Carrie Fisher and Billy D. Williams. The dynamic there would have been amazing, and I just don't see them working that out in any form or fashion, not with the footage that they had prior. Unless Billy D. Williams snuck in and shot some scenes under the radar for these other films that were cut. I don't think so. So that's my thoughts today. I'd love to hear what you guys think. What would you like to see happen for Lando and the Falcon? What would you like to see happen for Chewbacca? What would you like to see, period, for the next trilogy? Let's forget about, if it's Colin Trevorrow or whoever, Rian Johnson or, anybody. Let's forget who might direct this trilogy. What would you like to see story-wise for this trilogy? They've already, said this is the end of the Skywalker saga, that Rey and Kylo are going to have closure in this. So that kind of implies that they're not going to carry them over to the next trilogy. I know that the planned trilogy was supposed to be all new characters. So let me know down in the comments, should Lando get the Falcon back? Should he be reunited with his beloved droid after all these years? Do we give Lando Calrissian a happy ending? And what happens with Chewbacca? Would you like to see him go more of the old expanded universe route and die? Or would you like to see Chewie live on and carry on the legacy for fans in the future? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure to click like if you like this video and you want to see more things like it. Click subscribe and tick that little notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos and when I go live. I do go live on games just about every single day, and I've got a few different series running, so I'm sure there's something for you guys. Check us out, and we'd love to have you back. and we'll see you later here at Media Trip.